Whoa. So I've been asked when I will juice again. So actually it works out because I wanted to make some more juice because I'm all out. So what a perfect time for me to chat with you guys and juice at the same time. And I just realized I need to go get my tablet because what I cannot do is see at the same time. But we're going to try to work this out because already I have left everything upstairs. I have this idea of what I'm going to do, and then when I start doing it, I forget about some of the pieces. And that's what we're looking at. But I went out shopping today, and I wanted to make some carrot juice, and also wanted to make carrot and apple and beets. And then one of the other juices is pineapples. I looked for fresh pineapples. It was just too expensive. So I'm actually juicing for the first time with frozen pineapples. We'll see how that goes. So I usually put my juice in these containers afterwards, but I need to, you know what? Let me hold on with this for a second. Let me get out all of the produce that I'm going to use and then start cutting that up. Hold on. So I have some bowls. I'm going to chop up some beets and some carrots and some other different things while I'm in here juicing. And trying to see how the lighting looks. This is one of my favorite clothing items from my late husband. This shirt right here. I have several, and actually, as I think about this, the funny thing about this item is this sweatshirt belonged to my son, but my late husband confiscated it from Alex, and then Alex gave it to me. I went grocery shopping and I have some, what are these? I think these are the beets. Yep, I have beets in here. I have carrots and some Macintosh apples, but we're gonna start with this first. Ooh. It's funny because the first time that I was juicing, I was so apprehensive. Like, I was afraid of what I was doing. I was putting things together randomly. But I've also realized that juicing is an experiment. You may have the ingredients for everything and think you know how it's going to taste. Not until you actually put the items together do you know if it's really going to taste good for you or not. So I have carrots and beets. And I have learned for me, the carrots and beets are super tasty. So the thing about going grocery shopping, you start seeing different things than what you think would be until you went out there. These are the type of carrots that I've realized are super tasty for me. And I didn't know beets came in orange and yellow and other different colors. I thought they were all red. I had no idea. So these are the beets that I'm going to use in my juice. So I'm going to rinse those off and then cut them down. And the thing about, so since I have done my last live, I have purchased 4 different juicers. No, 3. I should say I've gone through 3 different juicers and now I'm actually on my 4th one. The first one was a gift that someone gave me as a housewarming gift. And that was doing real good if I juiced like every blue moon. But if I was juicing on once a week, the thing conked out. It could not keep up with regular juicing. So when I started juicing on a regular basis, it was trash. It didn't last long at all. And I was extremely disappointed. It was clogging up. It wasn't staying long. It wasn't holding down. It was clogging up and I had to constantly clean it. So it finally gave out one day. Then I went to Wally World to pick up another juicer real quick. It said that it had the right horsepower or whatever power in it. And I purchased that and I came home to try to finish juicing. It did not work. It was done. Took that back and then got another one. And I thought that I had finally found the juicer that was going to work. And now I am hot. I'm sorry. I wanted to wear this sweatshirt because this is Mark's. But it's getting hot the more I move around. Hello, Lifetime Coach. And hello, anybody else in the room. I'm sorry, I was getting stuff around the juice and I didn't pay attention to everybody that was here. Hello, Dark Crystal. Hey, Manti. Hello. How are you? And so, let me see. Let me bring this around here. Yes, that is, So I need to, I guess I'll move this out the way as I rinse off some of my vegetables before I start cutting them down. Hold on one second. So I'm going to rinse down my vegetables, cut off the green part, and then start making some juice. Hey, Manti, how are you doing today? I never know what to start with, but the first stuff is, so what I did realize also is with different recipes, you can make stuff out of the green parts of your vegetables that you're going to juice with. So you're probably wondering, why is there a bucket right next to my refrigerator? If anybody's interested, let me know. If you're not interested, we won't talk about it. But first I'm going to cut off all the green parts of the vegetable. And I'm going to put that aside because Mr. Jackson has decided that he likes to make stuff out of that. That is not my job. That is not my forte. What you will probably never see me doing on TT is cooking. That's not my jam. I like to eat. You may see me go to a restaurant and do that, but cooking is not going to be it. Juicing is probably going to be the closest thing to you'll ever see me doing, like making food. So he wants to cook with this. He can have that over there. I'm not messing with that. So we got the beets down. And so I'm going to cut down the carrots and then make some juice with that. And also cut down the apples. But I'm putting, I want to take the roots off. Because I don't think those taste too well last time. I think they were really bitter. You know, I can't remember. I'm going to leave them on. It's been a while. And the more that I get to use versus getting rid of, the better for me. Manti, how is today going for you? And how's everybody else in the room doing? I have been running around doing different stuff, and I was talking about that I wanted to make juice, and I'm trying to be committed to myself because I really like the way it tastes. It's just the work that it takes some time to get to it. But here we go. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Fitz. Hello, it's Latoya. Latanya? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I said that wrong or correct. If I did, I apologize. So I have some organic carrots and organic beets. If you can hear me, hey Carol, hey Melissa, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. Melissa, do you want to chat? Let me know. I'm making some juice and chatting at the same time. Right now, as you can see, I'm cutting the tops off of the carrots, and then I am going to rinse them before I start making some juice. Because people were saying, when are you going to juice again? I was like, I had been juicing. I just wasn't going live when I was doing it because I thought it was kind of boring. I hit another depression. Oh, hey, can only be in for a few minutes. I'm going out with my daughter and son-in-law. Good for you, Carol. Good for you. Melissa, do you want to come up and talk? Let me know. I am going to be here. And I know, oh my gosh, I got ice this morning all melted down. Oh, wow. Like outside the weather, like not snow, but ice. Ooh. Okay, I'm glad it's melted because ice can be tricky. I would, but I've been crying. You don't have to show your face. And sometimes maybe if you want to talk, you're more than welcome to. This is a safe space for your tears. It's okay. I need it. I'm feeling really down. Good for you, Carol. Going out with people and changing your environment is really good. And you've had a lot going on, Carol. I mean, with your son, your husband, and just life, and Mr. didn't work out, all of that. You need to remember that you are more than those situations. So going, And this stuff is super dirty. So I'm going to rinse off the cutting board before I get into that too. Okay. Got some apples here. Hey Vicky. There were apples. Oh, here they are. I knew there were apples somewhere. So I have Macintosh apples. I have carrots and also beets. That's what I'm working with today. And I am just got my taxes done. Wow, taxes 2 years in a row, and I had to owe lots of money because of my job. Oh, where did you get your taxes done at? Did you do them or somebody else? So there was a lot of dirt on the vegetables, so I'm going to make sure that I am cleaning them off. Hey Lucy, thanks for coming in. I am doing some juicing. I just cut the tops off of all of the vegetables, and I'm just washing those down. I mean, I like juice, I like to be organic, but I don't want no dirt in it. I mean, I really don't. And so I'm washing those down and doing that. And I've been asked when I was going to go live again while I was juicing, so I was like, okay, it's Saturday, late afternoon. I just got in. I'm going to do this. Right now, people are out of the house, so I figured it would be easier to do while I'm in the house and do this. So I'm washing down the vegetables. These are carrots. I've never seen yellow carrots before until I started juicing. I only seen orange carrots. Am I the only one that didn't know carrots came in yellow? If you knew carrots came in yellow, can you put an eye in the chat? I want to know if it was just me. I thought carrots only came in orange. Not until I started juicing did I know it came in a different color. This is new for me. And I also say I never washed vegetable down so much until I started juicing. That was not something that I was aware of. In my mind, it just got all cooked down. But when I'm doing this, I really want to cook it down a little bit, make sure it's good to go, and brush down the dirt. I never heard it. Thank you. You were raised on a farm, Carol? Okay, so thank you. I feel better because I had no clue at all. And so yeah, this was a first for me. So first I'm going to just clean off these carrots, put the apples in here. I guess I really could put this new juicer that I have. It is the bomb. It is super strong, and I don't have to cut down stuff a lot. It will really take in big parts of items. So I don't have to cut them down too much, but I'm gonna cut them down at least in half. So I have a bowl here. I'm gonna put the carrots in one, the beets in another, and in the apples. That's the plan here. Oh, I thought I heard somebody coming in the house. Oh, let me rinse this off. So the one thing about having a better juicer, it has more power, and it does not require me to cut the vegetables down as much as I did before. So I can cut them down into just half. Well, this is a pretty big one, and I think the feed that it goes into would be better if it was down a little bit. Now, even though it is a bigger device, I'm a bit of a wimp, so I'm going to cut them in half just to make sure it goes through really well, because that was pretty thick. I'm going to cut that down. The weather here, maybe regional yellow carrots. Oh, okay. You know that is a concept. I never thought of that. But I mean, these are carrots. They are yellow. I would have never thought that they were carrots if I would have just walked by them in the store. I literally had to see that and go, look at that. It's a yellow carrot. So we have made it into February. In February, I'm not sure. Nah, we can make it up. I don't care. I mean, it's a guess. How many people are dealing with the Valentine thing going on right now? I mean, we are getting ready to head into, in February, you probably have already been seeing all the lovers commercials, all the stuff about Valentine's Day. That can be bringing up some feelings for a lot of people and what that looks like. And even if you did not really, it's very hard. I was about to point the knife in that direction. I don't want to do that. It is hard. I'm not celebrating V-Day with my dead husband. Thank you so much. Hey, Jazzy. And you know what? I actually, so Valentine's Day can be super. Jazzy, did you get my message? I am sorry that I missed your phone call. I was out cold. If you want to come up and talk, please let me know. That was my favorite holiday for my husband. And you know what? That is the reality. I had lunch with a friend who is actually a widow and she's a therapist. The knowledge that she has in her experience in grief puts it on a whole different level. And I was asking her about, okay, Jazzy, hold on for a second. Where'd you go?
Right here.
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Hey, have you looked at any of my journal posts? Have you seen the posts reflecting on my journal, Miss Journal Jazzy?
I haven't, because I haven't been looking at posts.
I sent you the YouTube link.
No, because I haven't. I haven't yet.
After all of that trash you have been giving me about journaling, after all that, Miss Tina, you never talk about journaling. Here I am for 52 weeks talking about a different journal prompt every week. You can harass me no longer.
No, okay, listen. My goal for today, after I do my homework and read my little book, is to look at every single one of them, and I promise you, I will catch on to everything you say.
You can go to YouTube. You don't even have to go here. I gave you the YouTube link.
No, I
It's
know. It's just you had sent it to me, and I think I meant to look at it, but I've been caught up in a lot of school recently because I had my first tests and all that, which is
okay.
not an excuse. It is not an excuse.
No, no, but you are working and going to school. You in a whole nother level right now. Things are different. It is not this easy peasy life you had.
Plus, I did in fact get your message the other night. I
Okay.
I think I woke up at one point and I like listened to it, but I never got to respond because I'm sick at the moment. Also, I
Oh,
will say, I was having a really bad night. Like it wasn't just like a bad grief night, like it was a bad all around night. And
okay. Hey,
you
Barbie.
you make a very good point that the Discord is there for a reason. I just know my own fault is that I get so the like few people that I like I don't know how to explain it. There's a couple people that I know I can say like absolutely anything to about everything going on, and I just stick to that because there was more to it than just grief that added on to it that like there was too much to explain, and I need to do better at that because the Discord is there for a reason. My brain was just in panic mode at the moment.
But you know what? Really? Hold on. Why is your no no? It says you're still a sub there. Hold on. I don't know. Hold on. Ugh. I don't know why that would be, Barbie. Why? Hold on one second. Uh, how do I do this? Hold on. Settings. Allow block. Hold on. Okay, first I'm gonna just bring you up so you can tell me what to do because I'm over here trying to do it. Okay, Barbie, ask to come up. Hold on. Why does it not say? Okay. Hold on. Settings. I
What?
think.
They
Mm,
took it from me again. I tried
I'm
doing it, but it's saying I'm a sub already. When I tried to resub, it's not letting me. It's saying there's a payment problem with TikTok.
no,
But
no.
I
Being a sub doesn't mean a subscribe. Oh, subscriber. I thought you were saying moderator. Duh. I was trying to. I'm like, it says you're a moderator. I was trying to change something. I'm like, that's. Not, see, that's what it says on mine when I go to Mama's too. It says the same thing.
it let me do it the first time. Remember, I redid it. But now the new one on the 5th, it didn't let it go through. It didn't let it. It says that I don't have you on auto renew, but I do. I already had you. I put you back on auto when the ban came. Now it's saying I can't do it again, so I'm gonna have to go to my laptop and try it.
And
Oh
you
my.
made a whole video on being a subscriber.
Yeah, because I made sure I saved all my subscriptions, but they're taking them from me one by one. They took you away and they took Baby Blues from me because it was due on the 5th, but I had the card. But it's saying that I can't have you guys on auto renew anymore. But so what? What if let me resubscribe then by myself manually? Why do I have to have her on auto? If you're not letting me do auto, let me do resubscribe normal.
I do
So
not understand.
I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to go. I'm about to lose everybody. I have 3 people left, man. I'm so
Oh,
like
Okay, I have a question, and I'm not. So, if you two ladies humor me, Jazzy, are you still there?
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful.
I'm
Okay. Have you two ever talked about the loss of your mom together privately?
No.
No.
Well,
There.
we've had conversations, but
Like
not like deep ones.
we've like touched on it briefly because it's
Yeah.
usually me who brings it up and she'll say like a little bit, but we've never like talked about it.
No.
I think VD March coming soon. Oh, Valentine's Day. Okay, March. Uh, March coming soon. Husband passed 2 days before son that passed in March is hard. Manti, that is super hard. And I want to go back something to Jazzy just said. Don't sleep on the grief discord. The grief discord is literally there 24 hours a day. You could use the grief discord like a journal. You can literally go in there and just put how you're feeling and type your feelings, and somebody else will probably message because they're up and can't sleep feeling the same way. The one thing we do know about our grief, nobody's going to have all the answers. And we do get comfortable. That beat was very thick. Talking to the same person, but there is value in talking to different people and getting a different perspective. And that is why I thought you two ladies talking about, because you both lost your mom in different seasons of your life,
Right.
and that perspective could be very helpful.
Yeah. Well, the way I did it was not the right way, but that's the way it helped me. But I don't I used to cry a lot, and I used to think about her a lot, and I still do, but now it's not as hard as it used to be. Now it's more like I think about the good things that we used to do. I laugh about stuff I'll do in the house by myself. I'll be cooking and I'll be like, "Oh my god, my mom would have laughed at me if she would have seen me doing this." But
Why do you think it was a bad way, Barbie?
I used to because I took all her pictures. I don't have pictures of her up in my house.
Oh, you took them all down. You tried to not see her. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I still can't. Even I have one up. I finally put one up in the living room. I have one up. And I'm comfortable with that one. I pass by my hallway and I can see it. That one I'm fine with. But
Okay.
putting all my pictures up, I still can't, even after 10 years. I just,
Okay, but why do you? Okay, why is it that you kind of take that as being bad?
because I'm taking her down so I don't see her, so I feel like it's a bad thing.
See, when I hear that, you talk about your mom, you discuss her, but seeing her picture can just cause you too much pain.
Yeah,
If,
it makes me
and
remember.
if you're not ready for that, I love that you're being honest with yourself and you know what you're ready and not ready for. I
Yeah.
think a bad thing is when we try to force ourselves to do stuff that we're not ready for because other people say we should, but we know inside that we don't want to do that. I think that's worse.
Even watching videos, my sister has a bunch of videos. I would not be able to sit there and watch them. I cry right away. I just can't do it because it just takes me right back to that moment. And it's like the feeling of having her there and loving her there and just having her with me, that feeling is not there anymore because I don't have her. So it's a feeling that I never get back. And that's the one that makes me sad. So I don't like to go back and look at videos or many pictures because it does take me back there. And I don't like to feel sad.
Okay, so you're in that part right there, trying to, I don't know any other way to manage our grief without embracing our emotions of some of that sadness.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about me. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say I think it's a bad thing because I'm suppressing them. You know what I mean?
So the suppressing of our feelings and not being honest. So would you, if you were able to be honest with your feelings, how do you think that would change your life?
I don't know. It would. I don't know how it would change because I haven't tried it. I would have to see because, like, I've never. When she first passed, I literally didn't have time to sit down and cry her or mourn her because I was so busy with funeral arrangements, busy with my stepdad at the hospital, because they both were in the accident and he was in the hospital for a month. So my mom's funeral took a month. We had to freeze her, because we
Wow.
couldn't we couldn't do the funeral until he was done. So she was in there for a month before we can do the funeral. And
Okay.
so basically that whole first month of her passing, me and my sister didn't have time, bro. We were just so busy that when the
Right.
funeral came, we broke down so bad. It was so bad. And then seeing her there, once me and my sister walked in and we saw her, we took, people were looking at us weird, but we took pictures with her. We both cut off a clock of her hair. People would thought that was weird. I was like, but
Wow, that's beautiful to me. Hey, Lisa.
yeah, I have her hair still in my drawer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I still have it. And you know, but we did things our way. People would look at us, but we didn't care. We were just like, this is how we want to do it. And we took pictures holding her hand, and we have those pictures in private, though we never show them to nobody because those
But
pictures
that
are,
is part of your healing. I love that you did that for you.
I love that.
yeah, I felt so like I wanted to have something, one more picture with you. Like that's how me and her saw it. Like we wanted to have pictures and at least something about her when she's not here, you know. And she's actually not down the street from me. It's hard for me sometimes to go, but I try to go on Mother's Day and on her birthday, and I leave flowers. I clean up her tombstone and stuff, but it's still hard sometimes, y'all. It's 10 years, but it doesn't feel like 10 years to me. It doesn't. It feels like yesterday every time I go, because the feeling is just brand new every time. It's like a brand new feel. It's like it happens all over again, and emotionally.
How does it feel being a mother now, and your mother has transitioned from this world?
Oh my God. That makes it even worse because I'm telling you right now, everything that I've gone through, every time I go through something with my kids, I sit there in my room and I'm like, Mom, oh my God, I did this to you. Now I know how you feel. I'm so sorry. And I sit there, and I sit there and I apologize to her every single time they do
Okay.
something to me because I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. This is what it feels like. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did this to you. Oh, this feeling is horrible. No wonder you couldn't sleep at night, Mom. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. So I bawl because I'm like, what? I did this to my mom. No.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes. I'm like, oh my God. And I tell my kids that. I'm like, you guys need to stop being like this because when you guys get of age and something happens to me, bro, the feeling is not good, y'all. Y'all need to fix it now before, or try to be as kind as you can to your parents, because when you lose us, the feeling you get after when your kids get older, it's not a good feeling. It's not. The regret hits. You get a lot of regret feelings and a lot
okay.
of,
So, Jazzy,
Yes.
what question can you think of to ask Barbie about grieving your mom? And I know it's different seasons, but there's no coincidence that about all the people in all of TikTok, you two could be right here, right now.
that's true.
That's actually a really good question, and I'm thinking really hard right now because I've been thinking since the beginning of this conversation.
And Barbie and I have had some crazy TT, so we have never ever talked about this ever.
No, I don't talk about my mom much online. I could show pictures of her now. Like I have pictures on my phone, and I could. And it doesn't bother me like it used to. Now I can actually do it. Let me see if I can- I'm gonna find one for you guys.
Oh, okay.
You guys can see
Okay,
it.
so carrots, beets, and apple juice and apples. That's what this combination. I have found that is one of the favorite juices that I like of all these three together. So I have Macintosh apples, I have organic beets, and then some carrots. And so that's what I'm gonna be juicing. Oh, show the picture, Barbie.
There she is, right there in the
That's
middle.
beautiful.
Oh,
I've always been like that. Like me trying just punching her. I used to
oh
mess
my
with her.
God.
I used to always mess with her.
Okay, wait. I have a question. I thought of one.
Okay.
So I know that, like, obviously situations aren't the same, especially because me and my sister are, like, we lost her at such a younger age. But, like, how did you get to a point, if you did, where you and your sister could talk about it and it not be a point of, like, contention or, like, causing, like, because you both grieve the same, different ways, you know?
Well, me and my sister, we've always talked. We talk about it, and we like, most of it is always laughing and joking because we'll say things, we'll remember things that are funny.
Mm-hmm.
But me and her have never sat down and spoken to each other about the feelings really that deep. She knows, I know she can't. She grieves different than me. Like hers is a little bit different because she has
Hey,
a hard
Mama.
talking about it sometimes. So me and her don't really talk about that like that.
Oh, so your sister? Okay, but that is Jazzy. Is that the same combination with you and your sister? One
I
not.
I've always been the one that's more open to talk about it because, like, when we
Okay.
were younger, she was always the one that broke down while I was the one that was like silent. Like, I wouldn't let myself show the emotions. But as we've
Okay.
gotten older, she's been the one that doesn't talk about it as much, whereas I'm the one that's more open to talking about it.
Okay. Okay. So there are some. So hold on. Okay. Oh, is that you in the red?
No, that's Alex.
Okay, your face is covered.
That's Alex, and my mom's the one in the white.
Okay. Oh.
It's a big picture.
Aww.
That's why you can't see all of us, but we're all in the picture. I have a lot of
Okay.
them now. I can actually I show now that I don't mind. Like these ones are. Oh, my
Hey,
mom's all the
Kevin.
pictures too.
Ooh.
That's not her. That's me. But my mom's not. The pictures are big. That's why they're not.
Hold on. Was that you in the green top?
That was me in the all the way to the left.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All the way to. I'm trying to find other pictures of her. I
Hey,
have a.
Curtis. How are you doing? And the conversation we started with, one people are asking me, am I still juicing? I am. I just haven't been doing it live.
My mom's
And
favorite game. That's her favorite game right there.
oh, poker.
Yes.
And I also wanted to know how people are managing Valentine's Day or Valentine's month because whether you're grieving the loss of a spouse or somebody else, the season of love has a way of bringing a lot of emotions up.
I thought of another question, Barbie.
Go ahead. What is it?
So, obviously, since we're both at like very different points in our life, our self talk is very different for ourselves. But like as the years have gone on, what are things you have told yourself that has like helped you in your grieving your mom? Because I that's something I struggle with a lot, and
Okay.
I know that hearing someone else's might help.
Um, One of the biggest things that I do now is I don't blame myself, or I try not to. I do. Because the thing is, me and my mom had a complicated relationship, right?
Yeah.
Um, I blamed her for something that happened to me years ago when I was a kid. So that blame, I carried it with me until a year before she passed. A year before she passed, we got to talk about it. But after she passed, it was something I lived with that I regretted not forgiving early on or talking about it early on. It was a lot of anger in me towards that for that feeling that I was feeling. But now I'm less hard on myself, and I don't I try not to go back there and say, okay, I regret this, I regret that. These regrets, I try to stay away from them because it's not where I'm at anymore. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I can now, I'm more comfortable now in a space where I don't have as much regret or anger for myself for not, you know, for missing out on her for so many years for dumb things. And I just try to think about all the good things and the last year I had her. And I don't know, it's hard to explain them. Those feelings are just so hard, complicated to explain.
But you know what? Barbie, what you shared, Hey Danielle, is a sentiment that mostly everyone has to deal with in their grief. In that what if I should have or we could have changed this or I wish it would have been different.
Yeah.
That
I
is
stay,
something that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's what I'm saying. That I don't do that anymore. That's the only difference now between the beginning and now. I don't do
Right.
that type of stuff anymore. Now I'm better at that where I know, I accepted that it happened the way it happened. It is what it
Okay.
is. I was able to enjoy her for one more year after not seeing her for years, and and that's how I kept it. Like before, it was easy for me to do that. I couldn't even talk about it because it was so. I felt so much anger towards myself, you know.
Okay.
But the anger is gone now. I can't remember the time. I can't remember when it happened, but it's better now. I don't feel that way anymore.
See, because like for me, it's not like an anger towards myself, but me and Lola talk a lot about how, like, when there's like someone passing, people are gonna feel survivor's guilt, and I feel like for me, like I don't fully blame myself, but a part of me does, even though I know that's not plausible in the slightest, you know. And so, like, knowing that you went from a place of like blaming yourself almost and like being angry about it to like the point you are now, like that's reassuring in and of itself because survivor's guilt is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, my sister. See, my sister explained hers like that. See, my sister can't talk about like I love talking about it now. I love talking about my mom. I love talking about memories, but my sister's not so much. So I never had anybody to talk to about it. So I used to just do it by by myself. But now that I'm older, it's like I can talk easily about her and show her and mention her and all these things because I went through a hard time for so many years. Now I'm easy. I'm lighter on me. Like I'm just nicer to me. I'm nicer to myself now. Like I don't blame myself. The anger is not there like it used to be. I'm just more of I like to talk about the good times, and I don't try to remember any of the bad. I remember all the good things, and there's a lot of good things that I could, that we can talk about my mom because my mom was an amazing woman, but I did go through a lot, But and that's the part I had to deal with after, like right after. It was hard for me, but the accepting of it, I had to accept it because I wasn't accepting that accident. It was not something I could fit in my brain. It didn't make any sense. She was totally fine. They had just went to the casino. It was my stepdad's birthday. They had just got to go home. And I had just talked to her at midnight. She was telling me she was on the way home. She was going to leave home, not stay at the hotel. And then I get a phone call around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning that there was an accident. And then by the time I got there at 6:37, she was already gone. So it was a lot. It was so unbelievable. Those feelings where you're like, this is not, like only you see in movies.
Right.
Like, you're like, nah, bro, this didn't happen to my family. There's no way. Like, how is this even possible? Like, I didn't even fathom it. I didn't even process it whatsoever on the way. I didn't even think. I was like, nah, she's going to be there when I get there. That's what my thought frame was,
Mm-hmm.
Got there and they told me that. And then they told me, you want to go see her? I said, no, I don't want to see that.
Right.
That's what my response was. I was like, no, I don't want to see that. My sister was like, yeah, I do. I'm like, all right, you go ahead. And then she was like, but come with me. Now I went in there, man, I'm going to tell you something. I went in there with her and she laid down next to her. When I saw that, I had to leave the room. I said, I'm sorry, I can't be in here. I can't do this. I got to go. And I went to the bathroom and I broke down and I just couldn't believe this is happening. Like, I felt like I was in a movie. It was not real. Like, it was like, pinch me, please, and wake me up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so unexpected. My mom was a super healthy woman. They did an autopsy. Super healthy. There was nothing wrong with my mom. Except for her lungs collapsed at the scene. Other than that, my mom was a super healthy woman. The woman was hardworking.
Right.
She was still young. She was only 50. You know what I'm saying? She was a young
My
woman.
husband was 51. I can totally. We went from going to the movies, having dinner, to him having a massive cardiac situation and done.
That's
Like
what I'm saying. It's insane. Like, how
like-
things like that can happen to you.
Life
Like,
is like boom, just like that.
yeah, that's why I say now to my kids, you here now and you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow, man. You really don't know. You really don't know. You think just because your parents are healthy right now, because see, that this is the mindset that we have. And I know that everybody's going to agree. The mindset that we have when our parents are here is that they're going to be here forever. That's the mindset we have. Like, oh, my parents are never going nowhere. No, that's not true. They're going to go someday.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I want to answer a couple questions. So one, let's be clear. I was on that elliptical. I needed to be doing 30 days or 30 minutes of cardio because my clothes are too tight. I'm not trying to buy new clothes. So I either need to close my mouth, move more, or a combination. Kirby,
I'm with you on that one.
March 11th, 2017 is when my husband left this world. We met up for like a lover's weekend. We were hanging out, and that was the furthest thing from my mind. My husband at the time was living in Virginia, and I was still living in Maryland. I was trying to get a job here in Virginia. He got a job here first, and I was working on trying to relocate here. And we met in Delaware on a military base. We're on Dover, Delaware, and that's where he had the heart attack at.
Oh my God! You see, I'm telling you, it's
But
just
at the
like
same time, I'm so glad I was with him. He deserved to have his wife there. Do I still cry every day? So let me thank you for that question, but let me say this. What everybody's grief looks like is different. And I'm going to share a couple of things that probably makes my grief different than yours. We're two different people, and so the way we grieve and live life has probably been different. My husband and I were together for 32 years. We had both been in the military together, so there was a lot of time of our relationship we were together, and a lot of time we could be traveling based on just what work would do. When my husband passed, I started seeing a mental health professional, a therapist, the day I viewed his body. I saw that therapist weekly for I want to say 6 to 9 months. And I was also in group therapy with other widows. I was afraid of me losing my whole mind. The day my husband passed, I was at the end of the hotel hallway in a kimchi squat, screaming into the phone, losing my entire mind. The journal reflection that's for this week talks about, for me, reflecting in my journal how much pain it was and how much drinking was going on. And that is not something I'm proud of, but I was, even in all of the therapy and even in all of that, the pain was so much. And I was trying to do everything to deal with that pain. In the first year, I cried unconsolably. Year two, when I would go to work, hey, let's talk, come on up. On this year two, every day when I drove to work, that last day played like a bad Netflix movie I could not turn off.
yeah,
I'm not even sure how I got to work and didn't have a car accident because it was like an overlay. Today I had lunch with a friend who's also a therapist. And I asked her, and she's also a widow. I said, girl, like, how does that work? Like, for you and your practice and being a therapist. And she said, one of the things, hey, girl, that she asked people to try to focus on, that our relationship with our loved one was an entire book. And don't get stuck on the last page. The thing about when our person leaves here, the last page is all that we can remember. That last page starts looking like the whole novel, and it takes over the whole experience. Yes, we will miss them forever, but when we hyper focus on that last page, she said we don't get to remember the love. We don't get to remember who they were. And that is super difficult. I have been in a practice for 8 years, but grief has made me think of going back. Right? Yes. All I think, right. That last page. That last page. And Danielle, she has been in the mental health profession for quite some time. And the way she practiced now, she has more empathy, just been there. And just, she said, just, it's different because grief has always been something she's talked about, but when it's your spouse, she's lost other people in her family have passed, but now being her spouse, whole different jam. Yes, I've been in for 20 years, but yes, more empathy. And Kurt, the ability to cry, that I think that we don't, okay, fire of window. I'm not certain if I know who you are. I'm not sure if you're following me. I don't know if someone can look at their page. I need, so far window, I saw your request to come up, but not Tom. I think Tom, the last page we had. So fire window, I don't know who you are, and this is a really protected space. So I'm not battling and doing stuff. People are sharing their hearts. So unfortunately, I'm not sure who you are, and I can't bring you up right now. Somebody was going to say something.
Oh, you guys made me think of a question. And this goes like for everyone, just because I know a lot of people here and losing like a spouse, they have kids as well. Like, how even today are you like helping your kids understand and like being that support for them, knowing that like, yeah, that other parent can't come back, but also you still need to like be that support for them, you know? Like, I don't know how the correct way to word it, but like, because I know for me, as someone who did lose a parent, like, especially at a young age, it is a very isolating and lonely feeling knowing that like I don't have this person, but a lot of other people do. So like, how do you like mentally help your children in that way? Because it is a very isolating experience.
Am I the only person in this space that's lost a spouse? I'm not sure.
No.
I didn't.
Okay.
Tony's still here, but when Tony got into an accident where he coded 3 times, and he was in a coma for 2 weeks, and we thought we were gonna lose him. But personally, me, I didn't tell my kids anything what was going on when it was happening.
What
But
is that?
I didn't lose Tony. Tony's still here, thankfully. So I don't know. Maybe I think Tina. Yeah, you're the only one up here, I think.
I lost my husband and lost my son. Oh, Manti. Let's real talk. Did you want to respond to that from your perspective?
Yes, because well, I lost my hello everybody, let me say that. Hello to everyone. Um, I lost my spouse in 2017, and my daughter was 12 at the time when her dad passed away. And honestly, it took her a really long time. I didn't, like push or try to force her to talk about it because a lot of times, especially when you're young like that, your feelings and emotions are all over the place. And you have to be really careful with that. But what the only thing that I can say is time. It just takes a lot of time. Just the grieving process, it takes a lot of time. So, even when her
Now,
dad.
hold on. When you say time, is it time passing and doing nothing, or time passing and leaning into that grief and processing and doing things? And you say,
Exactly.
because sometimes people say, in time you'll just feel better. I just want you to qualify that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what you said. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to sit in that space. You don't want to sit in that space because it can take you to some really dark places, and that's not where you want to be. You want to remember the love that you shared with that person. Because like this morning, my husband, it'll be 8 years, and I woke up this morning and I was bawling. I was just crying because I
There you
miss
go, Curtis. 8 years later, the
you know.
tears still flow.
Oh yeah, it just and it's not like a I cry every day, but when I say it's frequent, is frequent because you miss that person. That's your best friend,
Yeah.
your ride or die, everything. So we're talking about going on 8 years, and I still feel the same way. But what I will say is that it's not as gut wrenching. It's that feeling where you can feel it like in the depths of of your stomach. It don't feel like that anymore, but it still, it still hurts. And like I said, it's a process. It's definitely a process.
I'm, I'm a, I guess I don't know if anybody else has really young children here. But mine were 2 and 5 when my husband passed.
Oh,
We're currently 3 and 6. And so a lot of it, I put it in the chat, but a lot of it is really going over and teaching feelings, because they don't understand their feelings, and a lot of it is repeating what death is. And unfortunately, it broke my heart, but I knew it had to be done because I knew that they would keep looking for him, but I had to make sure they knew he wasn't coming back. And I have a hard time breaking things down into childlike phrases. So especially something as difficult as grief. That's probably why I always work with adults. But the other thing, I forgot what I was going to say. So See, a year later, I still my brain still doesn't work.
It glitches. It's like what? What was
What
I
was
saying?
I saying?
Yeah, you said that you have a hard time putting it into childlike language, and you
Yes.
prefer to work with adults because I think that's easier to interpret what that looks like.
Yeah, and so by the way, the 3-year-old's here. Did you say hi?
Oh,
Um, so basically, it's I'm dealing with them, and it's also just remembering their father and just keeping those lines of communication open. That was the one thing my husband and I agreed on ahead of time, was that I would not hide my emotions,
okay.
that I would show them to him, because he lost his mother. He was 17 when he lost his mother,
Oh,
but it
okay.
was a lot of like hush hush. You don't show emotions. You need to be strong for your little sister. And his
Okay.
sister was 10 years old at the time and still has difficulty with death. And so that was one thing we wanted to make sure, like, not showing them that I'm always crying,
Right.
but being able to show them my emotions, and that it's okay to show those emotions, and keeping that line open that they could talk about their father. I have a recording of my 3-year-old. He thinks his father's flying around up in heaven. Um,
That's what I
and
thought for the first year.
really, they kept. So we tried not to have them. They keep releasing balloons whenever they get them. I have to watch my kids whenever they have helium balloons outside, because they will release them and send them to daddy. Um,
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
so and he will talk about, I think June was when we had his party, and they kept taking them from the party and taking them outside and releasing them. So I think within the last month, my 3-year-old was talking about that. Like, he has those balloons, he has those football shaped balloons up there.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was gonna say I lost my dad young. I had just turned 21 when I lost him, and my stepmom, she was amazing, you guys, because he remarried. They raised me. My stepmom and my dad raised me. She always kept that line of communication open for me. Whenever I wanted to talk about him, she was always there to listen. She was always there for me. She never had me, telling me I can't cry or don't cry. She was always an ear. Like, she never judged. He always says, if you ever want to talk about your dad, call me. If you ever want pictures, I have a bunch here. I can send them to you, because I had just moved to the military after he passed, and it was gonna be my first time being away, because I lived right by him. So we lived right next door to each other. Like, when I got married with Tony, but he died at 46. I was only 21, so it was hard, losing my best friend, because he was my best friend, bro. Like, that was my dude right there. And I was so happy the way she did it. I hope one day, if I go through that, I'm like my stepmom. She really was amazing to me. And I felt comfortable calling her, talking about him. I love that. The open communication thing worked for me and my stepmom. It was really amazing. We still are like that, even to this day when we talk about him. She really was good with that, my stepmom.
Thank you. From
It's
my
funny
perspective,
because I wish that I had that open communication with somebody that could have shared my dad with me, because I lost my dad at the age of 12. He was 34. Um, Died of massive heart disease. My mom, he and my mom were married. They got married when my mom was 16. My mom thought that my dad was just being a bum, because he couldn't keep a job.
okay.
Because she was like way, she was years younger than him when they got married. Um, but she thought that he just was being a bum and not keeping a job, so he didn't have to pay child support.
Okay.
But it really was that he was really sick, and he would be sick and lose the job. So,
Mm.
um, but for years, we resented our mom, because we felt like she kept us away from him.
Okay.
And to this day, I still have identity issues, as far as what am I like of my dad, you know.
Mm.
Um, and I totally disagree with any parent that keeps their children away from their father
Okay.
or their mother, because when you choose that mate, you chose that mate. So don't deprive the children just because the relationship doesn't work out, because you think that it's best for you, but you don't understand what that's doing to those children. You
Right.
know, I've spent all of my life, every major event in my life, looking out in past the crowds, hoping to just see a glimpse of my dad,
Mm.
so that he could see and be proud of me. When my stepfather walked me down the aisle of my wedding, I cried all the way down the aisle because I was really wishing that I had my father.
Right.
Not that I wasn't appreciative of my stepfather. I was totally appreciative. But I wanted my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
When we had different things at school events, father daughter dance, I would just cry because I couldn't understand why I had to not have a daddy,
Mm.
and how my mother could be that cold to keep us away, even down to his, before he unalived, he was in the hospital for a month. Mom wouldn't, she knew it, but she would not take us to the hospital to see him. She didn't even tell us about it. We didn't find out that our dad had been in the hospital for a month
Wow.
until he passed.
Mm.
And actually, the day before he passed, he was supposed to have been coming home that next day. And
Okay.
he was telling my aunts and my uncles that were at the hospital, he told them, he said, "Oh, I just can't wait to be able to see my kids."
Mm.
Because he only had me and my brother.
Okay.
Um, he didn't have no lot of kids all over the place like a lot of daddies do. He just had myself and my brother, and we're 15 months apart. And but both of us, we had the same identity crisis and
Okay.
didn't even know it. I didn't know that it was bothering my brother like that. And I mean, it was bothering my brother so bad that I took and gave my brother my dad's flag, because I
Oh.
felt like him being a male, he needed it. He needed to know who he was as a man.
What made
You
it the
know.
conversation for you to find out how it was affecting your brother?
Um. Well, it started out when we were talking about the heart disease, and they say that usually one of the children
Okay.
will have heart disease. So we couldn't wait, When once he turned 34, I mean, it took all those years for us to have this conversation, you know. When he turned 34, he was like, "Oh my God, no, when he turned 35, he was like, "I'm so glad that I made it to 35." He
Because he
said
made it
because he
past the
just,
age your dad passed.
yeah,
Mm.
and then we started talking about it. We laughed, we cried, because I had those same sentiments. You
Okay.
know, I thought that I just knew that I was not going to live to see a grandchild.
Okay.
Between my dad, and then I was always having surgery, so I really thought that I was going to inherit something from my dad, and I didn't even know what other things my dad may have had.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really, really a rough, horrible time,
Okay.
because you dealing with that resentment towards the parent that has you,
Mm-hmm.
but you try not to show it, but it's an internal feeling, and it's like, why would you do me like that? Why would you? You got all these questions that you want to ask, but you're not trying to poke the bear either.
Now your mother is still
So
alive. Has that bear been poked, or what does that look like now for you and her?
we don't ever discuss it.
Okay. And you talk to your mom regularly.
In fact, I just left my mom.
Okay, like daily. Yeah. Okay. Because this. Okay.
Oh yeah, I talk to my mom every morning, every night.
How have
10
you found
o'clock
peace
every
with
night.
that?
Pardon me?
I said, have you found peace with that, or what does that look like for you now?
Yeah, once I found God, it helped me to be able to deal with a lot of things. It helped me to understand that whatever happened as a child, that doesn't define who I am. You
Ooh,
know,
okay.
that I can't let things that happened in my past define me. I don't own that. That didn't belong to me.
Okay, hold on
Exactly.
That
one
was
second. Jazzy, what does that mean to you hearing that? Because that's something you're struggling with right now.
Um, and we both were on the same track there. I think like that is such a big thing to like, that is such a big mindset that you have to like put yourself in, because when you do have something like really like tragic or traumatic happen at a young age, it literally, your whole life centers around that. Everything from family stuff to school events to your own personal identity is so dependent and like surrounded by that one event and that one person that like I've been trying to get out of that. Like that doesn't define who I am or where my life is at now. But like when you are so young, it is a very tough mindset to get out of. But once you're like starting to figure that out, that's like you, it means like you're starting to understand everything about it better, and you're understanding that like while this may have happened to you when you were younger, you can still go on to do bigger, better things and like have the right support system around you and have the better mindset and not be stuck in the mindset that you were in and what 8, 9, 10, whatever age you were. But like when you're a child, it's really hard to understand that. And I love that Mama brought that up because that's really important.
I'm sorry, but she literally, you when you said that, Mama Boom, you answered the question Jazzy was asking. And I was just like, oh, right here, this is the moment. Like she came in this room looking for that answer that you came and brought. And what I love, what you, a lot of you may not know, Jazzy, Barbie, and Mama and I are in rooms together. This conversation I've never seen happen because we're talking about other different things. So that relationship and trust exists. That those words are not just listening to a stranger. It's literally hearing words from someone you spend hours talking with.
Right.
and I mean I was on and off this app.
Okay, hold on. I need to make some juice. I ain't made nothing. I'm doing all this talking. Hold on.
I was also gonna say that Danielle made a very good point earlier when like she was talking about when she was telling her kids, like a lot of it was like reiterating what death is and like what that means. Because okay, when I was 8 and all of this was happening, I was told that she was in a better place and that she was in heaven without no explanation as to what death was and how it affects you, and also like what happens to the person after that. So I feel like that made me so confused for so long that when it finally clicked, I was like, oh my God, she's gone. Like, she's not coming back. And no one prepared me for that. So I feel like the way you word, and it was exactly what she was saying, like the way you word it, especially to a child, makes a very big difference in their grieving process and their healing process from that.
I
On
think
my end, I have a 4-year-old. He was, and I'm an older guy, so my wife, he was 3 years old when she passed away. He just turned 4. So with him, um, she died of pancreatic cancer. So he started seeing her when she started getting sick, right? So I mean, she was healthy when he was born, when we had him, but she progressively got sick. So what I tell him is, mommy's in heaven. And he asked me once, how come mommy's went to heaven? And I told her, mommy was sick, so she went to heaven. And she's not coming home. But on the opposite end of that, we have an angel bear, and it has a bell inside of it. So every morning, every night, when he wakes up and goes to bed, we shake that bear, and he tells her, mommy, hold on, shh. Okay.
The baby voice. Oh.
So we say, Mommy, we love you and we miss you, and we're hoping that you're having fun up in heaven. And then in the morning times when I take them to daycare, the sunrise is coming up, or at night when the sun's going down, there's a sunset. I said, look, Mommy painted the sky. She's up in heaven painting the sky. Or if it rains, Mommy's crying because she misses you. So I kind of let him know that she's not coming back home, but he's too young to understand what there is. So there's only a certain amount you can tell a child because of the comprehension. Not that you don't want to, it's because of the comprehension.
Yeah.
So I just make it very basic. What's that?
I said I don't want to. I mean, I have to. Certain things I have to. It's just I think it killed me to tell them that he's not coming back.
That part.
And,
right. So and that's what I did. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I just love you.
I love you, honey. It's he misses her, and so, but I replace that with a positive. Take the bear every night, right? And we talk to her every night. We miss you, and we love you, and we wish you were here. Mm-hmm. Hope that you're having fun in heaven, or stuff like that. Nobody wants to tell their child that the other parent's not coming home ever.
I have a question.
But I try to replace it with a positive.
Mommy.
Is there a question? So Jazzy was 8 years old when her mom left this world. And I hear a lot of times in the spaces where people have small children. Jazzy, is there something like if you could go back to 8-year-old you that you would want these two parents to know as they're raising their children with a parent, this like, I learned this in my grief, and you may want to share that could help them?
Well, a big part of it for me was like the positive reinforcement of it, and also like the support that you guys are giving. I think when you lose someone at such a young age, it's always difficult, especially, and I've heard it a lot from you guys because a lot of you guys are parents who have lost like your spouse, and it affects your children directly, obviously. I think what I would have appreciated when I was younger is someone telling me that like it is okay to miss her, that it is okay to not have a great day because she's on my mind, and that like the loss of her doesn't define my like whole day, but also the fact that she's not going to be coming back ever. But to know that the people around me know that as well, and care that I was grieving as well, like, because I feel like for a lot of my childhood, everybody else's grief overshadowed my own. So like, because my grandma lost her daughter and my uncle lost his sister, and they were grown and they lived with her whole life, my grief was very overshadowed. So I feel like letting them know that they're like not alone in that, and that it is okay to miss her, and that you're there to support whatever emotion they're going through is super important, because I didn't have that for the longest time. I had to figure it out on my own.
It's funny that you say that, because now I don't have that many family members. Like I said, I'm an older guy. So when I say older, I mean I'll be 59 this year. So he sees me cry a lot, right? And he'll ask me, "What's wrong, Daddy?" And I'll say, "I just miss Mommy, because I miss her too." But he'll turn around and say, "Don't cry, Daddy. I'll make you happy." And it's almost, it's almost like he's taking the nurturing role, right? I don't want him to take that role, but it's almost like it's embedded in him to be the
3-year-old.
to be the comforter, right? And but I want him to know that it's okay to miss her, right? And okay to be crying or feel sad. So
I feel that so much, because that my 3-year-old does that. And he'll be like, "I'll make you," like anytime I'm upset, "I'll make you happy, Mom.
Right.
I'll make you happy." And part of me, I want, so I kind of go kind of these between these two extremes where I'm like, I want to nurture that empathetic side, but I also don't want him feeling responsible for my feelings.
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
right.
So I say I am responsible for my. I mean, he doesn't understand fully. So I'm responsible for my feelings. He goes, I'm responsible. I'm like, no, you're not responsible for my feelings. um, and I mean, I try to break it down a little more, but being that I'm responsible for my feelings, mommy has to make herself happy. And just kind of making sure, because my problem also is that I've worked in the mental health field for almost 20 years. So the things I've seen, and like the stories that you get told, it just kind of, and I'm trying not to be that stereotypical like therapist mother where they kind of, for lack of a better way, they screw up their kids by therapizing them, for lack of a better way of saying that. But I also, there's so many things that go through my mind because of stories I've heard about
Right.
other parents. So I kind of go back and forth, but I try. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes, and I guess the only thing I could do is just try love them and try to keep myself mentally sane as much as possible for them, and also, well, for myself too, but also to try to just do the next right thing as
Right.
well as I can.
It's a vague playbook, right? It's vague, right? So
I have a
you
question. So, Mama Boom, you were talking about how, so one of the questions that Jazzy started this conversation was the head chatter and the message that's coming into her head. Right when I asked you to pause, you were about to talk about how your faith impacted your grief and your perception of yourself. Can you go on with that? I'm sorry that I paused you, but I knew Jazzy was thinking about what you had just said.
I don't know, no worries. That's how panels go. um, I think the biggest thing for me was once I was old enough to realize that, well, before I even say that, let me say this to Curtis. Curtis, it's never a too young age to talk about death. Kids understand way more than what y'all think we do.
Mm,
First of all, they understand. We understand. If you share it with us, it may not make sense to us at that moment, but once things happen, you start to relate back to previous conversations.
okay.
So don't ever feel like a child is too young. If they're big enough to ask the questions, they're big enough to comprehend the answers. So I just wanted to share that with you from a child that lost a parent at a young
okay.
age. So don't ever worry about that. It's got to be harder as a parent that has lost a child. It was easier for my mom because she had so much animosity with my
Mm,
dad. So it was just easier for her just not to talk about it. And but she never stopped us from talking about it, but she just never had a lot of good things to say about my dad.
okay.
And, I have a problem with that. I still have a problem with that
Mm.
because, you have never told us that you were sorry, for believing that my dad was just a bum, wouldn't work. You've never apologized for that. And, even after finding out that he had they died of a massive heart attack, but he had heart disease which kept him in the hospital for a month. So, knowing that, I feel like a parent should be able to come back and say, you know what, I was really wrong. I owe y'all an apology. You know, it may not seem like much to somebody, but to that child, to myself and my brother, That would have made all the difference in the world to us. But I was able to let all of it go and still be able to love my mother the way that I do. Because God shows me that He loves me and that He's my protector. He's my everything. And if I'm still standing, then it's as a result of Him, not anybody else. And so once I was able to understand that, and I understand that I have to ask His forgiveness for things that I've done in my life, then I have to be able to open my heart and forgive and let go. I don't forget, but I have to let it go because otherwise it was just robbing me. It was only robbing myself and my brother of our future. So I just decided to make my life count for something so that my dad could be proud, because once I came in to knowing that I will be able to see my dad again, then that made all the difference in the world for me. Once I came into that personal relationship with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, then I realized that, death doesn't mean death. It just means separation. Once I came to understand it, then, which would have made a bigger difference had somebody explained all that to me when I was younger. It took me getting grown to really understand all those factors. So I know I'll see my dad again, and I know that, we'll be able to catch up, but it still did not help me through my young years because I still long for my dad. I long for my dad. I feel like losing my dad at an early age set the foundation for my life with males. My brother left me and went into the military as soon as he could get out of my mom's house, as soon as he was of age to go. And he left me. Yeah, he left me and went to the military. Um, the love of my life, my mom. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But my mom ran that relationship away, and we had been together for years. Um, but that's a whole nother story. So I felt like every male. Then when I lost my son, I felt like every male in my life I was going to lose. If I loved them, I was going to lose them. And so that had me all twisted up and discombobulated for a while, you know. But then I had to come and, the Lord brought it all home for me. And that's why I tell anybody, build that personal relationship with the Lord because what you don't get from these earthly people, you're going to get from Him. He's going to put the people in your path to help you to be able to get the understanding that you need to cope. It's not an easy one size fits all, but guess what? You know, and I say it all the time. Take it to the source, and Jesus is the source. And He led the people around me, still even to this day. He's placing people around me to keep me strong when I want to fall apart, you know? And but that's not me doing it. That's Him. So build those personal relationships with the Lord because He will sort out everything in your life if you will allow Him to. That's
Absolutely.
His promise.
Hmm.
That is His promise to us. So why not utilize it? Those the things that we've been through as children that we go through going through life, that stuff don't belong to us. We don't we you when we're kids, we don't have any control over the things that grown-ups do.
Right.
And the decisions that they make are based upon what their needs are at that time. And so you can't allow that to hold you prisoner. I see the whole reason that I do praise and worship is because I was hearing so many people hurting from things in their past. I don't want people to hurt from things in their past because you couldn't there even if you knew anything, you couldn't have changed decisions that other people made.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were reckless with your life, that don't define you. You can write the end of your own story. Write build your end of your story. Picture the end of what you want your life to look like. If you could make it a perfect, quote unquote, perfect life, what would that look like to you? See the end of your movie and then work it backwards to get there. Work it backwards and put the things in place. And you will be a happier person. You will have a design, you know, in your mind. You building your own roadmap. You don't let anybody create the end of your story because if you're still breathing, your story is not over. And you have to
Mm-hmm.
take the things that have happened to you and try to make it better for the next person. Utilize those things to maybe help another kid so that they don't have to have the pain that we had along our journey, you know. A lot of times it makes a whole difference, you know. So, but
Thank you.
that's
No, thank you. Let's talk real. What are you thinking?
Um, I'm just sitting up here thinking about when you have those moments, and I call them waves. After I lost my husband, I, I was in autopilot for at least a couple of years. I was in autopilot, and what kept me going was my faith and the love that me and my husband shared. So it wasn't like it wasn't a bad thing. And even when I would think about him and I would cry, Mike would always do something to get me out of that place. It could be the phone ringing, doorbell, somebody coming in making me laugh to distract me, from crying because he hated to see me cry. So, I just more so when I cry, it's just, and when you cry, it's just that you miss that person. You miss them. You miss the company. My best friend is gone. We talked every day. We did everything. So when that person is gone, you feel alone and you try to navigate. Now you have to navigate through this thing we call life without them. And sometimes it can be pretty hard. It can be really overwhelming. But what I've noticed with me, when I get overwhelmed in that moment, I just breathe. You have to take a couple of deep breaths, and when you get to that third one, you let it out. You know, and that's what I do. I don't just stay in that space. When you stay in that space, it can take you to some really dark places, and that's not what they want us to do. They know that we're gonna miss them. They know they're watching over us. They are still here with us in spirit, and still that's a beautiful thing. You got that person working on the other side for you. So that's how I look at it. It could be anything, like something simple as me. I didn't misplace my keys. I'm like, oh Lord, where my keys at? And boom, and then I end up finding my keys, but I can hear Mike like, baby, they're over there. You can hear. I can hear his voice, and I'm like, oh my God, because he used to say, here she go getting fussy when I can't find something, whatever. I get fussy. So just him helping me, knowing that it's him, makes me feel good, because that's pretty special when that person that used to be here, that's no longer here, is still helping you in the spiritual realm. That's a blessing. So I just want everybody on here to know, listen, I know we all are going through some things and we're missing our loved ones, but they miss us even more. And what we have to do is try to do our best, to make them happy, to keep their legacy and their memories. You want to keep them alive. You want to keep that going. So, like I said, we're going to have our bad moments. We're going to have our ups and downs. just don't stay in that space for too long. That's all. It's okay to cry. It's releasing. You have to release. Don't bottle it up inside. And if you want to talk about it and you're around somebody that don't want to talk, get with somebody that want to talk about it, that don't mind, you talking about that. Because sometimes, and what I've noticed is that people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to cry or they don't want to feel some kind of way or whatever. And that's okay. But with you get with somebody who you can get some support from, because we all need it. We all need it. So, my heart goes out to each and every one of us, and you just understand, just just keep going. Just keep going. And for those that have lost, and it's been recently, just understand. And people will say, oh, it's going to get better. I went through the same thing. It does get better, but at that moment, it don't feel like it.
And you don't want to hear that.
And you don't want to hear
You
that.
want to hear somebody let me hurt and acknowledge that my pain is valid
Yes.
and be comfortable enough to be with me in this space.
Yes.
And I may ask you questions like, how did you get there? What did that look like? But I want to know that I'm not alone in this process. I want to know that other people have traveled this road with me.
Right.
And even though it is crawling through hot lava,
Mm-hmm.
it hurts when you reach out for someone and they are not here.
Absolutely.
It hurts in grief. The other thing that I found, and thank you for sharing that, Let's Talk Real.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about grief, we have all experienced, I'm going to use this term, a lower level of grief. We probably had a pet that passed.
Mm-hmm.
We had a job that we lost. We broke up with a significant other in your teenage years and what that looked like. And we learned how to dismiss that, how to move on, how to have a stiff upper chin or something. You can get another boyfriend or girlfriend. Usually when it becomes a relationship that is super close,
Mm-hmm.
you realize all of those coping skills that you learned for those other losses, they don't serve well in this space. And you're re-baselining what you thought about grief. You're re-baselining what you thought about managing loss. You're re-baselining showing your weakness or being vulnerable or being transparent because this loss has broken you down in a way that you've never seen yourself. And you go, well, I've seen other people lose somebody. They didn't show like that because they did it on the low. They did it, they ain't show nobody. But when this becomes so much, it takes you to a different area that you've not been to before.
Absolutely.
And I want to,
So Tina, I just wanted to, you hit the nail on the head with the level of grief, because I think I've talked about this before, that I am famous for intellectualizing. Where
no, Danielle, no.
Not at all, not
No.
me. But this is the first time I have experienced something that is above that level where I can't fully intellectualize it.
Damn Beauty, can you go on mute? There's a lot of background noise, sweetie. Until you're ready to talk. Sorry.
I'm trying.
Okay.
It won't let me. Sorry.
It takes forever. It's.
I got Walmart Wi-Fi, I think. I don't know.
Okay, I'll put you on mute till we're ready. I'll put back on mute. Sorry. Oh, you got it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Danielle. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say. I mean, it really is. This is the first thing. I think this is the first thing ever that I have fully not been able to intellectualize. I mean, there's probably been things where it's kind of seeped out and everything, and I have felt feelings here and there, but I've been able to, I'm a pro at it at this point. But this is the first thing that really.
It's like you can't shake this.
It broke.
This
through.
is like, oh, you came for me hard. All the other stuff. I was on a live last night with somebody who works in the health profession. They've been other people's coaches. Her mother passed, and they were really tight. And she's like, my mom passed 3 years ago. On Wednesday was the death anniversary of her mom. And she wanted me to be on because she thought she was ready to have this conversation because she's doing well. And I was like, but you not though, because she has been trying to intellectualize, just like you said. She's been using all those things she uses on other people. And the doctor cannot take care of themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
after a few questions, she was like, I don't even like you. I was like, you asked me to come here.
Oh, we're the worst clients. I can tell you that right now. We're the worst. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I will say, I feel like I was in actual denial from when he was diagnosed, because he had small cell lung cancer, which technically, he had a prognosis of 4 to 6 months. He lasted a year, which is amazing. I feel. But I was in denial, like full on fledged denial from the time he got diagnosed. Actually, probably before then, like while we were going through that process, because he told me he had a lump on his lung. They caught it in an X-ray, and I was like, oh, it's probably just nothing. I was able to just put it all away. And then I think July, so it was like 7 months after he passed, it just like hit me. And it just like that wave really like, we talk about everything comes in waves and grief is waves, but then that was a huge wave. And a lot of ocean references in me. So and I kind of like to say that, I'm still in the ocean, and I have to ride the wave. There's and it is, yeah. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's just right. You're just experiencing the waves and kind of going through them. They're not as bad right now. I'm luckily my ADHD has given me some hyper focus for cleaning for the first time in over a year. So I'm excited. So that's basically it.
I'm going based off of that too, because like you guys know, I've written a couple poems where it's like grief is like waves in the ocean, but like when I really like when it comes to grief, I look at it as like sometimes it's like looking through a microscope and it's like this teeny tiny black dot, and you feel it and it's there, but I can compartmentalize it and it goes away. Like it doesn't go away, but I can distract myself. And other times it's like this big, giant, gaping black hole that's about to swallow me, and there's nothing to do but ride it out until it's gone. And some days it's easy, and some days it feels impossible. Now, nothing is impossible. I try to say that, but some days it feels impossible. So, like, when it's like waves in the ocean, it's literally like waves in the ocean. Sometimes it's just at your ankles, and sometimes it's taking your whole body with you.
Bam Beauty, some you wanted to share? Oh no, I think she put herself on mute. I don't know. Okay, I have not made any juice yet. Hold on.
You may have to take her. Oh, there. Never mind.
Hey,
No.
I was gonna say, I'm glad I caught you. I ain't seen you in a minute, lady.
I got a
I've
lot
not
of stuff
seen you on here in a
taken
minute.
care of. I've been trying to do stuff.
But I was listening to the panel and everything. I don't know if everybody knows my story. They probably don't. I think Mama Boone does though, because she's been in a couple lives with me, or that I've been in with you. I lost my husband in 2023. We were married for 20 years. He was in the hospital because he was getting a port put in for his dialysis. He was in kidney failure and liver failure, and a nurse walked away from him and he fell, hit his head on the hospital floor, and suffered a brain bleed and a blood clot to the brain, and ended up in the hospital for 8 months. That happened on New Year's Eve 2022. Right before midnight, so it was still 2022, and he passed away August 6, 2023. He never left the hospital, ever. That was a hard blow for me. It was hard to accept. It was hard to wrap my mind around that could happen. 15 seconds, literally 15 seconds, changed the course of my whole life and my kids. It made me not trust as much, but I believe things happen for a reason. And he was suffering. I know that he didn't want to live that way. grief has been a roller coaster ride for me. I could be fine one minute, and the next minute I'll be in the grocery store and I'll look at a Three Musketeers, which was his favorite candy bar because he couldn't eat it because he was diabetic, and I'll start ugly crying in the middle of Walmart. Like seriously ugly crying, and become a blubbering idiot. And then 5 minutes later, I'm okay. And then, it sucks because in this town, he's everywhere in this town. Everywhere I go, everywhere, or everybody I talk to, we're all mutual friends, or, and the looks that I got afterwards, the pity looks, like, and I didn't want to hear that, it was his time. Like, I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me that. Or that he's in a better place. At that time, I didn't want to hear that. Like, that just made me mad. Like, I wanted to thunder punch somebody because there's like, I don't want to hear that. No, he was meant to be here. That was not meant to happen. That was, a mistake by another person. I told myself that for a very long time until I had to make peace with the fact that he was sick. And I did ask God to take his pain away. And even though God didn't do it in the way that I felt like he should have, whereas we were leaving the hospital with him, balloons in tow, happy, and all that, he did it his way because he knew that Robbie would never be the same ever again. And Robbie was on a trach ventilator. He had a feeding tube. He had a BMS system. He had a subpubic catheter. He had 2 central lines. He developed focal seizures. And, he was in a coma for 2 months. And it was, I went up against a whole hospital because they wanted me to pull the plug on this man, and I refused. So when he passed away, I had spent 8 months fighting for his life. And I felt like, okay, what do I do now? Who am I now? I've been with this man for 20 years. Who am I if I'm not Robbie's wife? Who am I? I lost myself fighting for him, and he was sick for last 5 years of his life, so I was devoted to take care of him. I didn't even know who I was anymore, and that's okay because that's my job, but I was honored because he died loving me, and I know when he passed, he knew that he was loved. He knew it. He knew it, and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to leave us, but he was tired. His body was tired. And when he passed, he was doing better. He was sitting up. He finally got to eat pureed foods. He passed his swallow evaluation. He was breathing on CPAP mode, which means that he was initiating all of his own breaths.
Oh, wow.
He was telling me he loved me. The day before he passed, he sent me a text message on his phone. Now, mind you, he misspelled it. He meant to say hey, and it was H and the at symbol and a Y.
He was medicated.
But it doesn't matter. It was the thought. It was the fact that he did it. I went in there and I told him every day how proud I was of him. But his heart just couldn't take it. He had a cardiac arrest that he could not bounce back from. And I thought that I lost a part of myself that day. And my kids literally watched me on the ground. They brought the crash cart to me because I couldn't breathe. And, I was with this man for 20 years. And this could not have been my life. Like, I was living someone else's life. This could not have happened to me. We had goals. We had dreams. And found out that, it could happen to anyone, and I wasn't immune to it. And that there was millions of women out here suffering from the same thing, great loss, and not understanding why or how this happened. Maybe we're not supposed to. But that doesn't mean that was the end of my story, and I had to tell myself that, look, you need to pick yourself up. So I would go out to his truck and I would scream. I was so angry, I would scream. I looked like a crazy person in my yard, but I felt better. And, I was in no way, shape, or form capable of making logical decisions. We went to pick up his ashes, and I put him in a seatbelt. Like, who does that? I was like, my kids were like, don't ask her. Don't ask her because she's liable to give you some off-the-wall answer that she can't come back from. And, they just kept me shut up because they were just like, hey, Mama, no, you stay in the house. Just stay in the house. We'll deal with it. Because there was no telling what I was going to say or do. But it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that, he was tired. And he had mentioned many times that he was just ready for it to end. And I was like, no, don't say that. you know, I fought for him every day, but not one time did I ask him if that's what he wanted me to do. You know, and he gave us 8 months. He gave us 8 months. He fought for 8 months, and I'm proud of him for that. So I decided that, you know, I'm going to try to live the life that he would have wanted me to live, because we did have that conversation. And he told me, like, if something happens to me, I want you to grieve, yes, but I want you to move on. You know, he said, I want you to live a good life because you deserve it. He did too. He did too. But that wasn't in the cards for us. He was a big part of my life, but my story isn't in there. And neither do my kids' story. And even though we want him here physically, he's here with us. I can feel him. You know, I can smell him. He does really, really quirky things. Like, he sets off the fire alarm that's right above his ashes, and that's the only one he does. Which, I mean, is scary because it's like, oh my gosh, there's a fire. And then you realize there's nobody up. Everybody's asleep. And, you know, he's done that in two different houses. Just the one above his ashes. None of the other ones go off. My son's had dreams with him. And so I know he's around. I know he is. So he's helped me through it. I believe he's helped me through it. Because he knows how hard it was. But, you know, I take it one day at a time. One moment at a time. You know, one dysfunction at a time. You know, but when it hit me the biggest is when I had to start calling, you know, phone companies. I had to start giving out death certificates because I had 8 copies made. You know, I had to enter, I get all these messages from people and I had to keep explaining what happened. And it just got to the point where I just didn't want to explain it no more. I was tired of talking about it.
Girl, that
You know,
right
because it
there,
hurt.
like, oh my gosh. I was like, who has to keep saying how my husband passed away and can I change the electric bill into my name? Like, there should be a quick, easy button for that. That was painful.
Yeah, like, I mean, I felt like I needed to write out like a blanket email or something and just send it out to everybody. Listen, give me your email address, and I've already pre-written it out. I'll just send it to
And
you.
everybody had
'Cause I
different
just
ways
didn't,
they wanted to do it. Everybody just, oh.
you know, and don't bring me food when I'm grieving. Like, I don't want to eat. I mean, I threw so many casserole dishes in the trash. I mean, I told him later I don't know what happened to it. Like, I mean, don't bring me a tater tot casserole, because guess what? I'm not hungry, and I don't want no tater tots. You know, like, I just did not understand why people in the South want to do that. Like, but I mean, it was just hard. It was just hard. And then his family, we didn't talk to his family. His family didn't even check on us for a year. You
How are
know,
you
I mean,
doing
and me and him had
today?
a child together. They, like, my youngest son went to Thanksgiving with them. They come and picked him up. He did Christmas with them, which I'm glad.
No, no,
I
no.
am
How are
so
you
glad.
doing
I'm
today?
glad.
I'm sorry. That's what I was saying.
Do what?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, y'all. I'll be happy to know that I do have a boyfriend. I do, and he's been great. He knows all about it. He's been grieving his own thing. He had a family member that passed, so he understood. He's very respectful to my kids. Very respectful to my kids. Very respectful in honoring Robbie and talking about him and sitting there and being there for them, because, you know, even though they're older, they're 24 and 21, they still need a man in their life to help them with certain things. And my oldest is devastated because his best friend's gone. And it's been hard. It's been hard because I wasn't looking, nor did I want. I was going to be one of them old cat ladies. That's what I was going to be, wearing my hair in curlers. I was going to give up on shoes altogether and wear slippers. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, just totally stay a shut-in. And then I was just like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that, because then I feel like that would be him. That would be a disservice to him. I feel like that he would be like, oh my gosh, woman, you have got to get it together. You know, because he's not in pain anymore. He's not suffering anymore. Like, really and honestly, I should be jealous, because, I mean, I have to deal with all that crap down here, like bills, inflation, and all that other crap. And he's up there just living it up. you know. And so he probably laughs at me when I cry. He probably does. He says, "Why are you crying?" But you know, that's neither here nor there. I'm trying my best to move forward. I'm trying to show my kids that yes, you can be devastated and lose your crap. Just don't stay there. Just don't
But
stay there because
you have been a lot of. Can we get some juice, please? Okay, hold on. But Bam Beauty, you have done therapy, a lot of eating, a lot of
yep.
special therapy. Hold on, let me juice, but I want to come back to that. I've been trying to juice. I have my vegetables and stuff ready. Okay, y'all getting okay, hold on.
I said it in the comment.
What kind of
It's juicing Saturday, but you haven't juiced once.
what kind of juicer is that, man? I need that sucker.
I'm gonna back this up so maybe it won't be so loud for y'all.
I want a juice. Heck yeah, put some of them apples in there.
Hey, she listened to Mama.
Hey, that looks good as hell. Man, she sat there and cut up all that fruit too. Look. Yeah, we'll be back to our
Commercial
regularly
break.
scheduled program.
It's commercial break. No, there's glitter on my face still.
I feel like she's doing an infomercial.
I wanted to make juice. I was trying to wait till a good time.
I said, I said it looked like you were doing an infomercial.
This juicer is not here on TT. This is something I purchased off of TT because I could not find.
Let me guess. Is it four easy? Is it four easy payments of $49.99?
Something like that.
Wait, but that actually does look really good. Now I want juice.
So this is my.
Can you put some rum in there?
No. This one. I have two favorite combinations. These are carrots, beets, and apples. That is, hey, Dance Mom. That's one of my favorite combinations. The second one is pineapple and ginger. Those are my two favorites at this point.
I am about to get yelled at for this response, but I'm saying it regardless. She made a good point. I'm old enough for that now.
Okay, I was in Vegas for a whole week and I'm trying to detox. That's what this is about over here, people. My organs need healthy stuff.
I'm just saying, rum would be really good in that.
Nope, this
Be kinda
tastes
fruity.
good, buddy. This tastes good as it is.
Potato. It'll be okay.
This is yummy. I I just wanted to get now. I mean, I guess I could put some turmeric in here, some other different stuff, but this right here, this is one of my favorites. Mm. It would be an info commercial, but I can't sell this.
She puts
But if anybody,
she puts the lime in the coconut.
coconut, if anybody is interested in this juicer, text me and I'll send you a link to where I got it. But
Is it a Ninja?
no, the Ninja did not have
Because I
enough.
got a Ninja blender, and that sucker will blend up anything.
So when I started juicing, like when I'm doing it regularly, I'll juice once a week. The Ninja couldn't keep up. This is
Finally did it.
all I've gone through. This is my fourth juicer. All of them have broken or didn't have enough power or strength to be able to do it.
That looks so
Well,
good.
it's funny you said that. You know where I got mine from? Believe it or not, I got it from my work. Okay, because they used it at the bar, right? Well, and it's it's a Ninja one, so it's an expensive one, but they can't get the warranty on it because it's used, at the bar or whatever. So they have to replace them constantly. So they were like, look, if you can fix it, because it wouldn't cut on, if you can fix it, you can have it. I took that sucker apart so quick and cleaned the inside of it. Now it works like brand new.
Yeah, the pulp will take out a blender. If they weren't cleaning it on a regular basis, that would definitely.
No, they weren't. That sucker was sticky as hell.
Okay,
It was very sticky.
I have to go. I have to go to Lola's. I have to get ready. But I love y'all.
Jazz. Don't forget the 3 things that I recommended, Jazz. Well, I just came on to juice because people are saying, "Aren't you juicing anymore?" I've been juicing. I just haven't been going live when I was doing it. So
I quit going live altogether. I had too many crazy folks coming in there, so I just quit doing it.
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
had a guy that really that exposed himself in my live, and I was traumatized. I thought it was a thumb, Miss Tina, and it wasn't.
and it's
It was.
I'm grateful to say that's not been the energy I've received. So I'm good with that.
I didn't ask for it.
Mm-mm. I am going to make the rest of this juice. Let's see. I think I have enough space.
But no, to answer your question, yes, I did. I went to therapy. I went to grief therapy, trauma therapy, and started writing in a journal. Look at that sucker. That's so cool. Yes, Mama Boone, you're right.
This is so tasty. You guys helped me juice today. That's what I was trying to do, and you guys helped me do it. So I want to say thank you. Unless there's nothing else, I'm just going to say goodbye for now.
Well, bye, Miss Tina. I'm glad I caught you on here.
Thank you. And if you're looking for someone that goes live on a regular basis, I think Barbie. I'm not sure, Barbie. Do you have a schedule of your live? I know you've been going live more. Okay, Mama. Do you want to share the days or times you go live, ma'am?
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I go live at 2 p.m. Central Time, which is 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, I go live at 12 Eastern, midnight. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
My phone was doing something weird, so I wasn't sure.
Does
Yeah.
Barbie have the time?
My
I've
phone
been
doesn't.
noticing her going live more, but I don't know if she has a schedule.
There she is.
Who said my name? What'd I do?
They want to know your schedule on your going live.
Well, I was supposed to do it again today and do my nails, but I'm not in the mood to do my nails because I have to actually do them and I don't want to right now. I'm not doing it today. I try to go once a day, like around 8 or 9, but it's to promote my products. But today it's not. I'm not feeling it today.
But
Honestly.
they can always go to your bio and go to your TikTok shop.
Yeah, I can actually take a picture of the products. I might do that and post a picture behind me and go that and do it that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little trick people do
Okay.
instead of doing it live.
Well, thank you all for joining me for some juicing. I've been juicing. I haven't been going to live a lot because I never get the juicing done. The juicing takes too long when I'm live. That's why I haven't been doing it.
Well, you did that
It's
really
because
quick.
we run our mouth.
And it's okay. Today I had space for that, so I was like, let me do this too. So you guys have a good day. Thank you for hanging out for me. I'll see you guys
All
Monday
right,
at 7 p.m.
I'll message you outside of here.
Okay, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to talk about walking in our purpose. That's the conversation for Monday's live.
Oh, good one.
Oh, cool.
Okay, have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.